Hey class, hey, happy Thursday again, y'all. So hopefully you pulled up your budget spreadsheet. And if you didn't, stop this video and pull up that budget spreadsheet that I shared with you in Google Classroom. Now, the first thing, if you take a look at the top, I do have 2020 here. And 2020 is in column L, but I wanted to go across column L and column N. And I also wanted to go from L1, here's the one, L1, this is the cell name, L1, through N2. So I want this 2020 to sit right in this one large cell. So if I select all of the cells together and then come to the top and click Merge Cells, it's going to merge that into one large cell and just throws the 2020 right in the middle. And that is because in that very first cell, if I hit Control Z and go back, because I typed it in this cell, Excel will always use whatever is in that very first cell to merge into the larger cell range that you're trying to select. So again, select the range of cells L1 through N2 and merge and center. Okay, so let's take a look at my budget, meaning your budget. So I already set this up for you. You didn't have to go in and format it. That's what you did with time management. So now that you know how to do some formatting, I figured I'd give you this part. And then we're just going to go and fill it out. So take your time doing this and see. I want you to follow along with me and do your own spreadsheet so that you're practicing how to do all of this. So if you take a look, before we would move out, I created this My Budget spreadsheet, and we need to estimate how much we think we're going to spend. And it's always good to estimate a little higher than lower, because if you overestimate and you've already accounted for that money and everything is less, that's a good thing. So let's say that you're looking at an apartment and you really like this apartment and it's about $900. Type $900 in there. Your water bill, you've asked around and you said, how much is a water bill for, a single person? Well, again, that depends on how long your showers are, how much you let the water run. If you wash dishes, do you let it run while you're washing dishes? Do you let the water run while you're brushing your teeth? Those kind of things. That will obviously make the bill increase if you use a ton of water. But let's say that you asked around and water bill's about $40 per month. So let's type in 40. Gas bill. Now you have to understand with a gas bill, my gas bill is more money in the winter because it's running all the time because of the heat. In the summertime, it's a lot less. So same thing with electric. Your electric bill usually is higher if you have air conditioning and you have a lot of fans or air conditioners running constantly. That's going to be more expensive in the summer as opposed to in the winter. So needless to say, if I make one more expensive now and the other one cheaper, it'll just flip-flop somewhere around the fall. So for gas, let's say my gas bill is about $55. And let's say that you're anticipating electric to be higher. So let's say that your electric bill is $85. Sewage, you have to pay for sewage. So sometimes that's included in your water bill. Sometimes it's separate depending on where you live. And we'll say sewage is $35. Cable. Pretend that you have cable. Let's make that $100. Let's say you have a pretty nice car, not really expensive, but you need a reliable car, and you bought a car. It was $350 a month. Your car insurance, we'll say, is about $110 a month. And let's say you do have a credit card that you are paying on. Let's say you have to pay at least $35 a month. Unfortunately, you used it, but you are paying it off. Let's say your cell phone is about $80 a month. And you have that student loan. So that student loan is $400 a month, and I'm being generous there. And let's say for you single, depending on how you like to eat and what you like to eat and where you like to shop, we'll say we'll budget about $275 for the month for food. Now that you have all your expenses typed in for January, you now want to add these all up. So in Excel, when you want to complete a formula, you always have to start that formula with an equal sign. So in B18, where you see my cursor blinking over here, type the equal sign and type the word SUM and then put a parenthesis. Sum meaning to add. Excel, when you want to add something, you have to use the word sum. So equal sign SUM parenthesis. And then what you're going to do is take your mouse and click, hold, and drag over the range of cells that you want to add up. So I want to add up B6 through B17. And now you can see that down here, B6 through B17. Close your parenthesis and hit enter. So right there, you can see that you're estimated to spend about $2,465. Again, we're estimating. So if you know going into this that, what your salary is going to be, you should be able to determine whether or not you can afford the $2,465. Now, all I want you to do is copy the same information for every single month. Now, I know some months, some of these are going to change because my water bill is never the same every month. It's either up a little bit or a little bit less, depending on, again, how much water I use for that month. But we estimated high on some of these utilities. So what I want you to do is copy this all over. So how do you copy this all over? You'll select B6 down to B17. Take your mouse and rest it in the corner down here over the little blue square and get the black plus sign and then pull it to the right all the way over until you get to December and let it go. So it copies everything in there for you, so you don't have to type it over and over and over again. Again, I will tell you, your rent is going to stay the same because that's a fixed expense. That's the same thing every month. Your water, gas, electric, and possibly even sewage fluctuate. Those are called variable expenses. Unless you order different things with your cable, my cable bill is pretty much a fixed expense every single month. Your car payment and your car insurance is usually a fixed expense. Now, your credit card, you can pay more or less, but if you use it, that amount may change. I mean, it could possibly change or it might stay the same for a good while until you pay down your credit card. Cell phone bill, it's usually pretty much the same unless you add things to it. It's usually about the same amount every single month. And student loan is a fixed expense because you're paying that off. You have to pay that same increment every single month until your student loan is paid off. And your food bill, obviously it's going to fluctuate because you have sales on groceries and things like that. But for the most part, you're saying you're going to spend about $275. So in addition, we totaled that up for the month. So in January, you would spend $2,465, same thing for February, March, and so on and so forth. Instead of typing that formula over and over again, all you're going to do is the same thing you did up here, down here. Rest your mouse in that bottom blue square, get the black plus sign over it, and pull it all the way over to December. It automatically fills in each and every month's total for you. Now, you can see in January through December, you're spending right here, the same exact amount. But again, as you go through and you actually move out on your own, some of these obviously would change and each number would be different. But again, we're planning. So we have to plan for at least $2,465 a month, give or take. So coming over here, let's see how much would you spend if you got that apartment for $900? How much would you spend for the year? So if you come over to N6 and do that same formula I taught you, equal sign, SUM, parenthesis, you now want a sum going across, but you want a sum starting over here in B6. So click B6 and drag all the way over to M6. Close your parenthesis, and you can see that pop up here for us, and hit enter. So if you moved out, for the first year, you would pay $10,800 just to live in your apartment or home for 1 year. Now I want to know how much I'm going to be spending on water, gas, and electric for the year. Remember, these numbers down here are monthly what you're spending, but what would you spend individually for each expense? So you're going to do the exact same thing here. The reason why you can click, hold, and drag and fill this going down is because you're doing the same thing in this row that you want to do in this row. You want to add up January through December totals. So when you pull this down, it pulls the formula down and will now add up these ones going across for water. When you pull this formula down again, it's going to add up B through M, but in row 8 for your gas. So if you notice, as I pulled these down, you're going to spend about $480 in water during the year, $660 in gas, $1,020 on electric. And now I'm just going to pull all the way down to row 17. So if you look, let's look at the bottom here. Food. You're spending about $3,300 in food. That's student loan. You would have paid $4,800 towards your total that you owe. Cell phone, you're paying about $960 a month, and so on and so forth. Now, you can see how much you're paying for each individual expense over here. But in this cell, it says yearly total over here in column O. This cell, if I add all of these up, that will tell me how much money I am spending in total for the entire year. It would be the same thing if I added up each and every one of these month totals right here in this cell. It's going to give me exactly what it is that I would spend for the year in total. So let's do =SUM, open parenthesis, and let's now select N6 all the way down to N17. Close your parenthesis and hit enter. This number here tells me that I would spend an estimated amount of $29,580 for the year on all my expenses. Now, if you notice in the budget spreadsheet, that doesn't account for any savings and there's no leisure activities. So if you say, oh, I make $30,000 a year, I'm good to go. Are you though? Because, you didn't buy any, or you didn't put any money away for savings. And then you got to think about, you want to live too, meaning after work, you want to go out and have some fun. You want to do some social activities. You want to do those things. So right here, you can have, a good idea of how much money you would be spending for the year. I'm going to create another video and we're going to do the bottom part of this spreadsheet here. So if you scroll down, take a look at the bottom. But we're going to use the information that we've calculated up here to help us down here. So what I'd like for you to do is go to the next video and we'll continue from there. See you, gang.